think it is fair to say that Grand Peace Online was one of the most hyped up One Piece games ever on Roblox. And while it may have not delivered in the adventurous gameplay it first touted, it's an undeniable fact that it had set a higher bar for Roblox games as a whole. Well, at least in the graphics department. When Grand Peace Online first released, another One Piece game was starting to blow up as well, the game being Blox Fruits. And back then, it was an undeniable fact that if GPO was free, it would absolutely dominate Blox Fruits in player count. Well, while in the first few hours of free release, GPO indeed did surpass Blox Fruits in player count, but shortly after, Blox Fruits had regained its dominance. Now, GPO is averaging 80k concurrent players, and while this may seem like a lot, we have to consider the fact that GPO averages 50k when there are new updates. So let's do a quick recap. Supposedly, the best One Piece game finally releases for free, but only gains less than half of its current player base. That statement itself doesn't make a lot of sense on the surface, but let's look back to the events before the update drop. Most of you probably know a lot of content was sneaked for Update 5, which was never released. This video by Anchor really shows all that was sneaked, so if you're really curious about it, you should really go watch this video. It was very well made. But anyways, the point is that Update 5 literally was 9 months of wait for 2 hours of content. Yeah, when I first saw this, I thought it was legitimately a joke, until the full update log released. With the update dropping with no new dungeon or major features, I felt like they were saving some content for free release. And if nobody suspected this before, this message by Fuyu should have started some speculation. Unfortunately, Saturday came around, and the free release update log dropped. And we came to learn nothing really consequential was added, and we got a lame looking hat. Which, I guess it was unobtainable, so it sent the trading markets into a frenzy. But other than that, that was pretty much it. Point on why free release generated absolutely no hype whatsoever. Since the update didn't add any new content for older players, they had no incentive to hop back onto the game, meaning that YouTubers weren't really creating content on the game, other than a leveling guide, which to be honest hadn't really changed much since their last version. With no hype generated by YouTubers and not that many experienced players playing the game to maybe help carry the newer players, it led to the new players being thrust into a pretty stale experience. To fully understand this, we need to think back to when we first started playing the game. Back then, once you reached level 105 and grinded a few boss drops, you were done with leveling and could enjoy endgame content such as PvP. But now new players are forced to level up to 500 and don't really boss grind since bosses like Buggy or Gorilla King aren't worth it for the drops. On top of that, many of these players are from Blox Fruits and expect that at the very least they're getting a cool fruit to help them speed up and enjoy mindlessly killing NPCs. Yeah, this shows the mindset of most new players when they join in. And all of these factors lead many to play the game for an hour or so to only go back to Blox Fruits where they are caught up and are up to date. To be frank, I personally believe that GPO going free wasn't the best idea. Many players play GPO because they had bought it and it was an exclusive experience to only paid players. And that was why there were still players actively playing the game even when there was no new content in months. However, if after free release, this update cycle continues like this where we get like a major update every 9 months, 8 months, anywhere around that time frame, we're going to see the game die. This is because free players have a very short attention span, and new One Piece games are being released left and right. So they eventually are going to catch up, and when they do, they aren't going to be continuously grinding the game for fruit drops or something. They'll move on to the next One Piece game and repeat the process all over again. So that's pretty much it for me on this topic. If you think this was caused by some other problems, feel free to let me know in the comments. And as always, be sure to like and subscribe. See you.